Hello, I'm Adrian Rochella. In this Arts Quarter, a rare interview with Australia's Judy Davis. Just what is the live music industry worth to the economy? And graffiti art. We look at one of Australia's legal graffiti hubs, attracting artists from around the world.
This is May Lane, a largely unnoticed street with an international reputation. It's one of the few places in Sydney's inner west where graffiti is actually encouraged.
Even though I do illegal graffiti, sometimes it's good to just put your iPod on, kick back, and just do a really nice piece.
This artist uses the tag crisis.
When I was in high school, I found a book on graffiti in the New York subways, and I was amazed that somebody could application spray paint on a train and make something look that nice. So I was like, well, I want to do that. It's a place where I've done the majority of my good pieces and good artwork, so it is a good place.
People who frequent May Lane appear to embrace it.
Mostly because it just creates a good, sense of well-being. You feel happier when you see colours everywhere instead of grey and brick.
Good. It brightens up the lane. It's it's always evolving as well. It changes every time I turn up to work. It's something new.
It's an excellent canvas for graffiti artists.
Some of the artists who use May Lane also do illegal tagging. Artists seek to gain repute by leaving their name or tag in exposed places.
So some of it looks very, very good. There's a lot of thought put into it, but unfortunately some of it just crosses over into that area of just being, sort of delinquency.
I think people do make the distinction between art pieces and just tagging. I think there's a low tolerance of tagging, and they're the sort of things that council does go out and clean up.
But artists say you can't have quality art without tagging. It's all part of the street art culture. And May Lane might actually be promoting it.
People can come here to get better and then go out on the street and then show everybody else in the graffiti world how they do it. You could almost use it as a practice wall.
The Lane attracts infamous street artists from across the country and the globe, like Space Invader from France, and Mark Mercado, better known as Mr. Cartoon from Los Angeles. He's famous for tattooing celebrities like Snoop Dogg, and his piece in May Lane is arguably the most significant in the country right now. It all started with this man, Toogie Balog.
It's like a dance, it's like a piece of music. It's people do that because they have to do it, or it's in them and they have to spit it out.
He noticed tagging on the walls when he set up his business here 5 years ago, and he encouraged it.
I really support these guys and I got soft spot for them.
But when the graffiti kept spreading, he sought permission from locals to use their walls, and then from the local council to use the entire laneway. One of the features of graffiti art is the fact that you never know how long it's going to last before another artist comes and paints over the top of it. What makes May's Lane unique are these panels, which are scattered along the wall and can be removed so the best arts can be taken down and saved. So far, there are more than 200 panels in storage, and several are touring the country as part of a national exhibition. Graffiti has been part of the streetscape in Sydney's inner west for 30 years.
St Peters hasn't been a renowned destination for broader Sydney, but I think this has given it some character and some sort of quality above and beyond what it previously had.
The local council believes it's a unique draw card that's revitalising the area. For the artists, it's much more than that.
It's about what the artist does and what they say for themselves. That's what graffiti's like. So yeah, it does tell a story. They're their own story, which is for them. It's for them. It's for nobody else.
In Australia, the live music scene definitely goes through its ups and downs. Now, for the first time, we can put a dollar value on its worth to the economy. Lucy Carter reports.
It's an industry that employs everyone from musicians and sound engineers to bar staff and ticket sellers. But until now, how much the live music industry is worth has been a mystery.
I'm really pleased to say it's a big number. So the economic contribution is in excess of $1.2 billion. So it's a big number.
Close to 20% comes from ticket sales, with the rest from food and drink purchases. Compiled by accountancy firm Ernst & Young, The report examined small to medium venues like pubs, restaurants and nightclubs.
We wanted to know what's going on, and we also wanted to acknowledge that this is an important piece of national cultural infrastructure.
All up, almost 42 million people attended close to 328,000 performances at nearly 4,000 venues. The report also revealed that the industry supports about 15,000 full-time jobs.
We have about 25 staff, some casual, some full-time, plus we've got the kitchen staff, we have door people, people selling tickets, so yeah, about 25 staff all up.
Dozens of venues like this one have shut down over the last few years, and that has the industry worried that the venue-based live music industry is in decline. This report will be used as a benchmark to examine the health of the industry in future years.
She's one of Australia's most esteemed actors and notoriously shy of publicity. But Judy Davis recently sat down with the ABC's Lee Sales for a rare chat. They spoke about her new film, The Eye of the Storm, and just how intimidating it was to tackle the work based on the Patrick White novel.
I wanted to be a nurse once, and you said, don't be ridiculous. I was left in no doubt that nothing short of great social success would satisfy you.
Fly away, pigeon.
Authors sometimes talk about studying real people for fictional characterisations in their writing. Is that something that you do? Do you study other people for their reactions, or do you study your own reactions to things that happen to you in real life and then store them away to mine for future use with characters?
I don't think I'm that deliberate. I mean, we all collect those things, actors and non-actors alike, don't we? It's just that the actors get paid to mine them. So I suppose, you know, actors are often going through the list of, oh, yes, that's interesting, tuck that away. But we all do it anyway. It's a human instinct, isn't it? And, you know, you could argue that perhaps at the end of our lives we're a collection of everything that we've seen and stolen or instinctively copied.
You've just come back from working on your 5th film with Woody Allen. I mean, somebody like that is at a stratospheric level of celebrity. Can you retain any sense of normality or normal connections with people when you become that very, very famous?
I can't speak for Woody Allen, but certainly it's difficult for somebody like me to have a normal relationship with him. I've seen him too many times on screen, and it's hard, you know. It's kind of hard to get over that. It was the same with, you know, somebody like Clint Eastwood. You know, I can't really pretend that he's just a regular guy because his face has been that huge on a screen from about my age of 12, so that's difficult. And then, of course, it makes it difficult for them. So it kind of bounces back and forth.
So how do you make small talk with these sorts of people?
I don't even. I did try a bit and it was an abject failure. But there was a 26-year-old girl on it who chatted away. But for the people themselves, for the Woody Allens and the Eastwoods and the De Niros and the Streeps and all that, Meryl Streep might be a different case, but they're just so famous and they've been famous for so long. I think they do have to protect themselves to a degree.
What is it like to work on a set with Woody Allen?
Look, it's 14 years was the last time, but each time has been quite different.
Who do you think you're talking to? One of those retarded talk show hosts? I lived through it with you, okay? I know how loosely based it is.
And this was different. He mostly just said to me, you gotta really nail me, Judy. You gotta nail me. I said, okay. You didn't nail me enough. Oh, God. Yeah, this was flat-out comedy. He just wanted the punchlines, I think.
You've worked very hard to keep your private life private, which you haven't always been successful at. How difficult has it been at those times when your private life has become more public than you might have wished?
I wouldn't mind that if the reporting of it was accurate. It's the misreporting, sometimes maliciously so. That's what makes it painful, because there's, you're powerless. And perhaps the public could understand that better, that the media has all the power, and the victim of the campaign, which is what they often are. The only recourse you have is the law courts, which I eventually had to do.
You mentioned some of the misreporting. Would you like to take the opportunity to clear up anything that's been written about you or about your husband?
Not at all. No, not at all. Because that's just, the machinery again.
Judy Davis, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of Australia's greatest playwrights says he still gets a buzz when one of his plays is adapted for the big screen. Face to Face by David Williamson explores community conferencing as an alternative to the court system. It all starts with a bad day for Wayne the construction worker. He gets fired and then takes it out on the boss. Instead of going to court, Wayne, his boss and colleagues thrash it out in a conference known as Restorative Justice.
Yeah, and I'll work even harder for you, Mr. Baldoni. I promise. No, I'll pay off your car. I'll work it off.
It's a process David Williamson became fascinated with a decade ago when he wrote the play Face to Face.
It was like a godsend for a playwright. Here we are, something that actually deals with severe conflict far better than the court system, and the stats show that, and something that's, as I say, highly dramatic too.
And it was a dramatic shoot. The entire movie squeezed into just 12 days of filming.
I am not the person on trial here, and if you start treating me like I am, I'm out that door straight away, okay? And he's going to have to take his chances.
I think if we'd had more time, I don't know that it would be a better film. I think the crucible of the process sort of informed what was happening on camera and vice versa.
Community conferencing is becoming more popular around Australia, especially for juvenile offenders.
I think it's something that should be explored. I think even if it was explored, I don't think it's very much well understood.
It's a much more humane and effective way of keeping young men out of prison, because once they're in that prison system, there's very little chance they'll ever really escape it.
It's David Williamson's 8th play to hit the silver screen.
When it's done well like this, it gives me a great buzz, because I think, well, the theatre audience is one thing, but the film audience is potentially larger. The television screenings of it later are larger still.
And he continues to grow his large catalogue of work with 3 more plays in the pipeline. And that's all for now. Join me next time for more art and entertainment in the Arts Quarter.